Okay, so this video is going to be all about how you can make guys like you. Yes, I'm going to make a video that's going to tell you how to make guys like you. What? We need to take a step back and think a little bit about why we want something. And the question is, if a guy doesn't like us, then why do we want to force him to like us? Like, I just don't, I used to be the same way, but I just don't, now I just don't understand, why we think like that. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the, heartwarming answer, and then I'm gonna tell you the actual answer of how to make a guy like you, but hopefully the heartwarming answer will make it so that you don't want to make a guy like you if he doesn't like you for who you are. Okay, so here's the deal. So the heartwarming answer is, you are who you are and you're never going to be anyone else. That's a fact. However much you try and cover it up and hide it with fancy clothes or a new attitude or anger or whatever emotions or whatever exterior things you try and change it with, you're still who you are regardless of the society around us. So if you really know, you really need to find out who you are. You really need to just get in touch with who you are, separate from guys, separate from your friends. And that doesn't mean that you can't date or hang out with your friends. Just mentally, you have to be separated from guys, separated from your friends, and just get good with who you are. Just learn who you are. Learn what's acceptable in your life and what's not acceptable in your life. Learn how, just make, a rule book for yourself of who you are, and just get familiar with who you are. All of our behaviors and all of our thoughts create the person that we are, and you just really need to just know who you are. And once you authentically know who you are, you're so confident that you just ooze who you are, and you're just so natural that people that like you will be naturally drawn to you, and people that don't won't be drawn to you. But that's good, because it's you can't be friends with every single person in the world, so you want to just draw the people that are going to be a good positive influence on your life towards you and repel everyone else. But when you don't really know who you are, and you're just you see other people and you're just I want them to like me because I don't know who I am, so I need to get my self-esteem and my confidence from other people. So that's why you feel that strong desire to not only just make any random guy like you, or it may even be with a girlfriend. You want friends, you feel like your friends make up your identity, and you have to be with the popular clique and stuff. So with that said, it's the same thing about guys. It's when you don't really have confidence and you don't know who you are, and I can say I was there too in high school. It's you start dating this guy, and it's whatever he's interested in, you become interested in. Whatever he wants to do, you want to do. You stop hanging out with your friends and you start hanging out with his friends. And it's just all those things make you lose your identity, because you don't really know who you are in the first place, and you think that having someone else who knows who they are, you can just kind of latch onto them. And that's the whole touchy-feely answer. It's if you know who you are, then you'll draw the people that should be drawn to you. You'll be confident enough to realize that when a guy doesn't like you, it just means that you two you're not supposed to be best friends with everyone. You're not supposed to date every single guy that you meet, you know what I mean? It's just meant that you're not supposed to be together, so then you can move on to the next guy that you maybe are supposed to be with. If you know who you are and you're confident with who you are, then you don't really care when a guy doesn't like you. You don't take it so personally, because it's a numbers game in a way, and it's just if you meet a girl at work and you're oh, that girl's really cool, you don't start obsessing about, am I going to hang out with this person, and when are we going to hang out, and are we going to be best friends? How long are we going to be best friends for? And a lot of times we do think about that with the guy. We'll start dating him, and immediately we're putting all these stipulations and thoughts and time frames on our relationship, and it's you can't know into the future, so there's no point in putting all that stress and pressure on the situation. Here's the way to manipulate a guy into liking you, bottom line. Which I shouldn't even tell you guys, but I will, because whatever, it's fun to manipulate guys sometimes. It's fun to play them instead of them playing us. Look good, not too good. If you know where he's going to be, you want to look freaking amazingly hot, but you don't want to look overdone. You don't want to look like you spend too much time getting ready, so you can be tan, but you don't want to look like you spend every hour in the tanning bed. You can be wearing makeup, but you don't want to have 12 pounds of eyeliner on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You want to just enhance your natural beauty. You don't want to look like you're trying too hard. You just want to look naturally, stunningly hot. You want to be friendly and nice, depending on the situation. I don't really know, like, if you're going to school with them or you're working with them or whatever. You want to keep engaged in chatter, not constantly, but like just at a normal rate that you would with a friend. You want to make, you want to be laughing at their jokes and making jokes also, but also if like they say something that's not funny, you kind of want to be like, yeah. Sometimes you want to make them kind of feel stupid in a way. Like you want to give them a little bit, like flirt with them a little bit, and then kind of draw back, like make them feel like, oh my god, like I just made such an idiot. Or like if they drop something or something, like don't be like, oh my god, that's okay, I'll pick it up for you, blah blah blah. Make them, like, you gotta kind of make a guy feel a little bit stupid in a way, because then it gives them something to chase after. Guys are hunters. They want to hunt after us. So you got to give them a little taste and then pull back. Give them a little taste and pull back. You don't want to ever be too available. If they ask for your number, don't just be like, yeah, sure, here it is, or like have it written down in your pocket already. You want to be like, yeah, sure. Like you want to, even if you've been waiting for this forever, in that moment, you don't want to seem too eager. Call your girlfriend and freak out after, but in front of him, you want to seem calm, cool, collective, and like you don't really care. Guys expect you to care a lot, so if you're acting like you don't really care about a lot of things, then they will be more drawn to you. God, I shouldn't be talking all these things. Don't be slutty. If a guy knows that you've hooked up with a bunch of his friends, even if you haven't had like intercourse, even if you're just like a feeling up whore, like anything, like guys don't like it when all of their friends know what's going on. They want to be the first one to have like conquered the mountain, so you don't want to be slutty. And if you do want to be a little bit promiscuous, then you don't want the guy that you like to actually find out about it. But you also want him to have a tinge, just like a drop, not like pounds and pounds, just like a taste of jealousy. So for example, if you're at a bar or whatever and a bunch of you guys are hanging out and he happens to be there, you want to, in front of him, be maybe just talking to his friend, but not like, oh, everything you're saying is so funny, friend, like da 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 da. You don't want him to think like you're interested in his friend. You just want you want him to think that his friend is interested in you, and that he has like there's a little bit of competition. When in doubt, act like you don't care. Just act totally aloof. And again, I do not recommend doing any of these things. For the record, I recommend having inner self-esteem and just liking yourself and being happy alone, and truly happy, not like happy necessarily alone, but being like okay being alone, being fine being alone, and sometimes being happy alone. And when you're in that state, then you will find a truly honest and meaningful relationship. But in the meantime, you might be like 15, 16, and I recommend like dating a lot. That doesn't mean getting with guys a lot. That means dating a lot. You can go on 1, 2, 3 dates without fooling around at all, and more if you want. Whatever you want, like you're in control. And the longer you make a guy wait, the more desirable you are. Like doing it fast is not good. Like that's like your final like thing. Like that's like once the guy gets that, like he's conquered it. Like you don't want him to conquer it too fast, because you got to keep him interested. Act aloof and don't be too available. If he texts you, don't text back immediately. Wait a few minutes. Think about what you're gonna text. Don't say too much. Don't act like you like him too much in the text. Be like, almost talk to him like a friend at first, like, and then give the odd flirty thing. Like you gotta. It's so hard. Like if I knew the text in front of me, I always know exactly what to say. Don't respond too fast to text. Like the initial text, wait at least like 5-10 minutes to respond to, and then once you're like in a conversation, wait like a couple of minutes. Like don't just be like text, respond. Like follow his lead of how fast he's responding. Anyway, so I gave you the like high school explanation of how to make guys like you, which is act like someone you're not and manipulate him and play him just like a lot of guys play us, which is not good. And then I gave you like the grown-up answer, which is know who you are, be confident with who you are. It's just like a fashion sense or style. When you have a strong style and you know what your fashion sense is, you go in the store and you're like, ooh, I like this, and this. But like me kind of, because I am not like super duper fashionable. Like I really always was into hair and makeup, but like I just didn't have an amazing fashion sense. So like for a long time I'd be like, I go in stores and I'd be like, well, like this and this, like she's wearing that and that looks good. Like I didn't know what my fashion sense was, so I didn't have confidence when I would shop. So it's just the same thing with guys. It's like when you, or friends or whatever, it's like when you know who you are when it comes to guys, what you will and will not tolerate, what is and is not acceptable, and what you do and don't deserve, then you will only date guys that meet those standards. It's not about like you meeting the guy's standards, it's about him meeting your standards. So know who you are, so you have standards of what's acceptable in a guy, and the guy is the one that has to meet the standards, not the other way around.